What is going on, YouTube? Pass the Prop back here yet again, ready to get you guys going on your Wednesday with an early slate. So we got popped on here early. Obviously, there's a lot of games early, so we want to make sure we get you guys some of those plays from those early games. Joined as always by my guy Stu. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Obviously, like you said, we got a nice big slate today for the MLB. Honestly, not my favorite slate in the world, but still a lot of games, a lot of stuff to bet on. A little bit dreary and rainy over here in DC. I don't know how that the East Coast weather is looking, but I got like 4 lights turned on around me, and it still looks like I'm sitting in the dark over here. So it's a little brutal over here. You know, maybe some weather stuff going on today, but other than that, pretty good. Can't complain.
Yeah, it's been kind of shitty these last couple of days over here as well. So I feel you on that these last few days. We had 80 degrees last Wednesday. It's now like 40 in here. So big flip. So yeah, let's get into this recap. We'll try to get this going quick. I know the first game starts in an hour and a half. So I want to make sure we get through everything and ready to roll. So yeah, we were at Tyrone. We were actually just talking about West Coast. I think it's like 3 hours off of Stu, which is what is it for you? It's got to be 8. It's probably 8 a.m. for you. So it's hey, nothing better than waking up and I mean, you guys might see me get a little wild up because we did a little earlier. So now I haven't gone to the gym yet. So now I'm having my pre-workout during the show. So I might get a little wild out here a little bit because this usually turns me up a little bit before we get going. So yeah, 8 a.m. Yeah, it's 10 here. I know it's 11 over by Stu. And I will kick it over to Stu to talk about the late night game from, what was that, Monday? We both had bets in that game. So I'll let you kick it away here.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman made it sweaty, man. Made it sweaty.
Yeah, ninth inning, I was watching that.
Slow start, trekking along. But as someone in my comments said, if there is anyone you want to trust on their last at-bat of the game, like Freddie Freeman is pretty high on the list. You know what I mean? He's one of the more dependable guys, and he got it done for us. Late double in that one, cashed this one barely. You know, was a little bit sweaty, but obviously got the plus money winner right there. And yeah, Freddie took care of business. So shout out to him. You know, it wasn't easy, but hey, no pain, no gain, right?
Yeah, I will say on this one, shout out to Freddie like hustling out of the box because they could have easily given an error to Corbin Carroll and made this a single. But I think since he was hustling, it would probably have been 50-50. Personally, I think he would have been thrown out at second, but Carroll kind of bobbled it. But since he was hustling, I think they gave him the double. But yeah, just something like that kind of goes unnoticed, you know, in the box score. But I was watching it, I'm like, damn, is he really going to get just a fucking single on this, dude? Really? And then obviously Carroll does the slide to cut it off, hits off his glove, goes against the wall. He ends up getting a double. But yeah, since he was hustling, I think they gave him that and didn't cut it to a single with an error. So shout out Freddie. I have my rant coming for this because this is absolutely disgusting. Christopher Sanchez does this thing. Luzardo did his thing too again last night. So shout out those guys. Both guys on my fantasy team this year. They have been absolute dogs. Absolutely love those guys on the Phillies. But I said this to Stu, and you guys might start seeing this from now on, but I need to just fade Brandon Pfaadt. Like, it needs to happen. Like, there's no other way around it right now. I need to fade this guy so bad. He is horrendous. I'm going to pull up some of the numbers here from that game because 14 runs scored in that game, right? So I will talk about my other bet here in a second, but my God, dude, these are crazy. These are absolutely crazy seeing some of these numbers off of Pfaadt that I just really pissed me off. We have a Teoscar Hernandez with a 770 expected batting average on a 109 exit velo lineup. We have Mookie Betts, obviously at the homer, everything in there. We go down this list, dude. There is like 7 of these balls over 100 that were out. Michael Conforto ground out at 105, right? I mean, we can go down this list. Teoscar had another one that was 97, right? Will Smith, 91. Freeman with a 101 fly out. That should have probably almost been a homer, right? So it was a 580 expected batting average. There was so many options, dude. So many barrels given up in that game. And for Brandon Pfaadt to get out of that shit with only giving up 3 hits, All three of them were absolute nukes. You're telling me that none of those other ones that were over 100. I'm completely fading this dude from now on. I think that he is absolutely just trash, bro. Like it was hard to watch this guy just get absolutely peppered and just continue to just get lucky on the shit.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, he's kind of throwing a lot of, I don't want to say meatballs, but like there's a lot of
they're meatballs. They're meatballs. It's okay. You can say it. They were fucking meatballs.
There's a lot of hittable stuff out there. And I mean, unfortunately, like you said, it didn't pop up in the box score, but that's how you kind of fade people going forward is when a guy, has that many hard hit balls that didn't result in, extra base hits or whatever. And it's not going to show up in the game log. It's going to be there and probably not priced in for next game as well. So obviously does suck that, they hit the crap out of the ball and it didn't result in a win, but definitely agree with you on the fade going forward in full force for Brandon Pfaadt.
Yeah, just to put this in perspective, I was talking about his expected ERA at like 5.5 off of a 3.9 ERA. He now has a 3.81 ERA and a 6.3 expected. So now it's even up another fucking run. This dude is one of the luckiest in baseball. I know the guy that you were working with in your Substack posted luckiest pitchers of the night, and Brandon Pfaadt was by far the luckiest fucking pitcher of the night. Fade City. I'm gonna do it, man. If I have to make multiple lineups in DFS and just have one of them that, even if they got like a 2.5 team total, bro, just full fucking fade the guy because it's coming, and it's gonna be one of those ones where I want to make sure I'm on it early because it's annoying. And not only that really fucked this bet, and I had it, and I thought we were gonna crush this one. Missed it by one. And we had a fly out that Teoscar robbed. I don't remember if it was Naylor or if it was Marte, but he robbed a ball. Oh my God. Like, dude, all I needed him was to not rob it, let it go over. We tie it, we push it, we get a plus 350. But he robs it. I think Thomas was also mentioning it to me. I don't know if it was in DMs or on Twitter, but my God, dude, the Pfaadt shit that sucked. On top of the robbery, just to pour more salt in the wound, man, it was nasty. It was nasty, and I felt so good about this bet going into like the 7th, 8th inning, dude. Like I really thought we had this shit down, and God, that was gross.
Yeah, like I told you, I was just box score watching, so I'm kind of glad I was because I didn't know we even got kind of fucked on like robbing a homer. That would have definitely pissed me off more, But what it was, I think they had 11 total going into the 7th. I want to say they needed 15 and then ended at 14. So it was a bummer. They had 2 guys on in the 9th inning as well. Before I don't remember. I think it was Kim had the final like fly out or ground out or something, but. Insanely close to cashing this one right here. Just unfortunate with what you said, but it was a good bet. When you're there at plus 700, you're always going to feel pretty good about it, even though you lost. Yeah,
and then this on top of. I didn't know this. I wasn't watching that Marlins game, but Marlins scored 2 to get it to 15.
I think someone else had 15 though too. I think there were 2 teams tied, if I remember. I think another team got to 15.
It was like a 7 to 8 game, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Just gross. All right. Well, we're done with it. Still 13, 13.97 units heading into today. We got 15 of you guys here joining us this early Monday or Wednesday. Jesus Christ. Hit that like button if you could. Subscribe to the channel if you could. We really appreciate the support. We see a lot more of you guys popping in here as we go along, so that we appreciate that. Stu, best game of the day. We got almost 2 pretty much split slates. So, in my opinion, these are some of the fun ones for me. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I like betting on Logan Webb. I'll probably have some Logan Webb versus the Royals. We were talking a little bit before the show. And Lynch on the other side is interesting. I think he's just opening, right? I don't think he's been pitching deep.
He has no long relief, so I don't know. That makes it tough.
Yeah, but that'll be interesting. I mean, he was kind of a fade guy in the past. He's been great out of the pen this year as more of a lefty specialist, But that could be an interesting game. I've just had a lot of success. My only bet of the day yesterday was Ramos on the Giants. Squeaked over in that first inning. They didn't do shit after, but cashed my bet. So I'll probably be tuning into that one just in general. And then maybe some Braves Nationals a little later. Watch Trevor Williams maybe make the Braves look better than they are. I don't know. That's normally something good to bet on as well. But nothing super jumped out to me today. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I think the only thing that really popped out to me is I'm intrigued in that first game with the pitching, just because both teams have been god awful against the sides. Righties against Pittsburgh have just absolutely nuked them. Obviously, Brady Singer on the bump. Lefties against the Reds have been very, very good. And you got Heaney out there, and then you're playing in the big ballpark here as well, I believe, out in Pittsburgh. So that's a huge difference. So I think that's an intriguing one, at least from the early game. And I'm curious to see if Cade Horton is for real, and he gets a Miami start. He's got, what do you have? The White Sox for one of them. He had, who was the other one? I mean, he's had some pretty easy starts here to start off. I think maybe Mets, were the other one in a primetime game.
Mets. Yep, Mets.
But that was the one he came in, and then he got the start against the White Sox. He gets the start against the Marlins now. So I have a couple Cade Horton autos, so I'm always looking there. Also, I don't know why, dude. I can't hate the Cubs this year. I like PCA, and you guys know I've been a huge fan for Tucker. So they're an entertaining team for me. And I think that'll be an intriguing one, getting him against Max Meyer, another young arm. So it'll be a fun game to watch as a fan there.
Yeah, no, that looks like a good one as well. Cubs are, the second team I root for. I've been to a couple games. They're a fun squad as well, so that'll be interesting. I always like the young pitcher duels over there. But like you said, you gotta shape up. You can't be getting knocked around by the White Sox or the Marlins. That's a good way to go back to freaking AAA.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm always up in the air with Chicago. Just because there's so many. I know a lot of fans that I like. But like 90% of them are just fucking douchebags. So, if you've ever been to I went to one game for the Packers down in Soldier Field. I wasn't even wearing that much Packers stuff. I think I just had a hat on, and you get it. You get it quick. Yeah, maybe it's just us in Wisconsin are a little too nice. Then maybe you got to be more of an asshole, I guess. Maybe that's what I'm missing. So. All right, so any of the late games sticking out? I know the Corbin, Burns, Dustin May spot. We have, probably the worst pitching matchup I've ever seen in Coors Field ever. So, I mean, there's some pretty big totals on the slate. Is there anything down there? I know we kind of talked primarily about the early slate.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got like DeGrom pitching against the Yankees. That's always fun for baseball purposes, just to at least flip over to those, Aaron Judge at bats just to watch greatness versus greatness. I think I'll probably be tuned into that a little bit. In terms of actually betting, I think Angels Athletics is where I'll be in that late game. Two fadeable pitchers on the mound right there that allow a lot of contact. And that's exactly what I'm looking for when I'm building hit parlays, hits, runs, RBIs, that kind of stuff. So I was looking at like Jacob Wilson stuff, but I think he left last game or something. He only had one at bat, and I'm not seeing him listed, so maybe he's.
No, yeah, hit by a pitch and walked, I think.
Is that what it was? Yeah, but I didn't see him listed on DraftKings earlier, so maybe if he comes back up, we'll have something. But yeah, that Angels Athletics game definitely looks very fadeable. Some good batter props probably will pop up in that one.
No, yeah, for sure. Let's get to your play of the day here, Stu. We each got one. We've kind of talked about quite a few other bets, so if you guys really wanted to take another bet, you just pop over there and kind of listen to the breakdowns of some of those games. But I'll kick it over to you, Stu. Let's take us away.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm going to Riley Green over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. This one is starting early. I'm trying to see the exact time, 1:15 East. So got about 2 hours to get this one in from right now. And yeah, Riley Green, this is kind of one of my favorite like archetype of props where you got a guy that's like good, like really good. And he's playing at an even higher level, but I feel like the pricing hasn't fully caught up here yet. Because over the last month, when you look at it, Green, I mean, just in general, the guy's sitting like 336 versus right-handed pitching on the season. Like in general, obviously he's having a great year. But when you zoom in a little bit more and you look over the past month, I mean, it's been fantastic. Literally home runs. Pretty much everything you look at, like doubles, RBIs, he's been top 10, average over 330. Like he's absolutely on fire over his last month. And what I really like is when you're a little bit deeper in that order as well, you got some nice RBI opportunity. He's probably going to be hitting fourth right here. So the RBIs have been top 10 over the last month as well. You can obviously drive yourself in if you hit a home run because the guy's been on a little bit of a power spell as well recently. He has 6 homers this month since the start of May, 12 on the season. Everything's been going exactly how you would want it for Riley Green. As someone that's a Detroit, fan as well, I like to always root for those guys. I got a ton of family in Michigan. Whenever I'm down there, Green is always one of the topics of discussion because he's kind of the leader of this young up and coming lineup. And it's not the scariest lineup in the world, but they've been really scrappy this year. And even though McKinstry, guys like that don't jump off the page, they're getting on base, they're providing RBI opportunities. And this is a good matchup. When you look at it, Andre Palente is who's going for the Cardinals this year. Palente's been good. He's been okay. He's solid. He's a ground ball pitcher. He has a okay fastball. He's going to throw it a ton, and he's going to try to get you to ground out. He's going to try to get you to make soft contact. It kind of makes sense for the Cardinals pitching staff. He kind of fits in over there pretty well. But when you look a little bit deeper, 1/10th percentile expected batting average, 293, 22nd percentile xERA, 475. Some pretty good regression looks to be coming. Only 22-second whiff and chase percentile, 9th K at 15%. Like, he's not really missing bats. That's not really what he's trying to do. He's really trying to get you to ground out mostly. But when you look at what he's throwing to lefties, he doesn't even really have an out pitch. He's thrown 50 knuckle curves this year, according to Baseball Savant. So I guess technically that would be his out pitch to lefties. But he's throwing an insane amount of fastballs to left-handed batters. Like when you look at his splits against righties, he's pretty much even on the four-seamer, the slider, the sinker. He's throwing all these pitches. When you look at his splits against lefties, we're almost 70% four-seam fastball and barely mixing in the slider, barely mixing in the knuckle curve. When you look at why he doesn't throw the four-seam fastball 69% of the time versus righties, it's because it already has a 280 average. It has a 309 expected average, 523 slugging, and then 543 expected slugging. So he's throwing this pitch that sucks 70% of the time. He really is struggling to get to his out pitch to lefties in general. And Green is fucking raking right now. He's crushing everything. He's having one of the best months in baseball so far. And he's going to get a guy that's going to give him chances. Like, he's going to throw strikes. There's some walk stuff. He can have a couple blow up walk outings and stuff like that. But Green isn't like notorious for walking. He's going to go out there and swing most of the time. And I just love this matchup. Once again, 70% four-seam fastball that has an over 310 expected average, over 530 slugging. When you look at Riley Green, the four-seam fastball, by far the pitch he's had the most production against, by far his best pitch, by far his highest run value pitch, over 630 slugging on the season, 337 average. It just lines up really well to me. I think Green continues to keep playing at a high level. And I would have had hits, runs, RBIs at like 160. I would have had it at a more unplayable range. But even then, I would have probably pivoted to like total bases because I think he keeps on getting the job done here. So Riley Green over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, minus 130, starting a little bit early today.
Yes. And I'll be kind of in that later spot. Andre Palente is just not a guy I'm a huge fan of. Just doesn't miss enough bats for me. But that's I'll give you that there. If got my Mexican side of the family there, so I got to make sure I get you to say that right because it's double L is like a Y almost. So
say it one more time.
Andre Palente. I think it's like a Yante. When they say that. So when you get on another show, Stu, and they're asking who's throwing today, because it's easy to do the double L like Palante. You see a lot of guys say it like that. So
yeah.
So I throw that in there. There ain't too many of those guys with those double L's in the league right now. So makes it a little bit easier. I got another Mexican guy, but I'm gonna be rolling. I think he's Dominican, but we're fading him today. This one's pretty easy. Randy Vasquez. We're going under. I saw who is it? Somebody in the chat, probably T. Yeah, Thomas talking about fading him, dude. I am. I don't know. Vasquez got me on the walks a couple times now, where he just I think it was against the Rockies, where he just doesn't walk somebody now, and he's just like, all right, hit it. Obviously, the Rockies suck, so that's a little different. But instead of going to the walks, I think I'm just going to go to the under strikeouts. Like, just looking at some numbers here, he is third percentile, which is very bad, in whiff rate at 16%. 15th percentile in terms of chase, which I think is very important for this Toronto team, is to make sure that they're not swinging outside of the zone against a guy like Randy Vasquez. His walk rate, 13%. He still has a negative K minus BB, which is horrendous. A lot of regression coming here. We're seeing over still 2.3 runs higher expected than it is ERA. We have I think he's right now. If you just look at the baseline numbers, you got a 3.4 ERA. Like, that's not terrible. But the 1.5 whip and the 5.5 expected batting average leave a lot to be desired there. Going over to Toronto, they're okay numbers wise against right-handed pitching, but they are, I think, third lowest in terms of strikeouts against right-handed pitching with only a 19% K rate on the year. They swing early in the counts. I think in this one with a guy who doesn't induce a ton of whiffs, I think they could actually get some walks here. So maybe a Randy walks spot, but I'm still a little bit nervous after a couple times taking L's on it. I'm also really nervous with this dude because he just got 21.4% pull in the air is terrible. Like, you don't want pull side. You don't want to hit that ball pull side in the air if you're a pitcher. You want that ball on the ground, pull side. Or oppo in the air. Those are the obviously tougher spots here. So I just have no faith in this guy. There's nothing. There's no put away pitch. I think his highest put away pitch is a sweeper that only has a 17% put away percentage, and people still have almost a 500 expected slugging against that pitch. So I am perfectly content going in there with a bunch of righties against him as well. It doesn't bother me when you look at like Bichette, Kirk. Vladdy Jr., right? I mean, a lot of stuff there that we could see some. We could see a ton of walks. Obviously, we could see a ton of pop coming off. A lot of sinkers. Almost, it's mostly sinker, cutter, sweeper. You guys already know when I talk about this, sinker and cutter are not induced for swing and miss. They're induced for soft contact. So I think this is a great spot for the Blue Jays to put the ball in play and keep that strikeout under 3, which I think might be the lowest I've ever bet. I don't think I've ever bet anybody this low in my life.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a scary number, but it's priced there for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, it looks ugly, but there's a reason it's at 2.5. And what gives me confidence is seeing him get deep into some of these games and still strike like nobody out. You know what I mean? Like, making it 6 innings, only getting 2-3 Ks. Like, when you have a chance to hopefully get him out of here earlier than that, you know, it's even better at plus money. So it's a little scary, but I'm excited. It'll be a fun sweat, you know, to have, especially against like a first inning strikeout. You know, you're gonna be like on the edge of your seat for the rest of the game. But I like the look. He's not missing bats, and like you said, the pitch mix is really not. What would you say the whiff rate was on that slider or whatever? 24.
Oh, his top swing and miss pitch is that sweeper against righties, and it's like a 17% percentage. It's just not great. But yet again, I still don't know how he has a job. Like, come on. Oh my God, he's so bad. He is so bad.
Padres need help though. They were starting. Is that guy from the KBO still starting? That started the year. I forget his name. Hart or something like that.
I think so.
Interesting. I haven't seen him on the mound recently, but I don't know.
All right, let's get through a quick recap here, and we'll talk some long shots if we got them here. So let's kick it over to you, Sue. Start us off.
Sounds good. We got the early game. We got Riley Green over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, -130, bet 365, and played up to -140.
Beautiful. And I'll be on Randy Vasquez under 2.5 strikeouts at +105. It's actually really funny that Tyrone brought up PCA because he is actually one of my tabs this morning, just because I'm looking at guys who actually, hit the slider. Because Max Meyer going to be a really heavy slider usage guy. I think he's like 40% slider. And Pete Crow actually does very, very well against the slider. One of the few guys that hits the slider well on the year. 625 slugging against the slider is important. My biggest thing, though, is I'm just really surprised at how bad he's hit the fastball. He's like not hit the four-seam fastball well. But he's got like a 50% hard hit. They just haven't fallen, right? But the expected batting averages aren't good either. So that kind of, makes me a little nervous on those. It's intriguing because this Cubs team has just been hitting everybody. But I feel like this along the road here, they haven't had the best starting pitching against them. So I'm curious, Meyer's a good pitcher. I think that they could probably get to that bullpen as well. That's been struggling. So interesting spot on this early slate. Any long shots, too? You got anything that's kind of sticking out to you at all?
I don't have anything bet yet. These early slates make it a little trickier for that. I don't know. I was looking at fading, like obviously Trevor Williams is normal. Maybe like a Matt Olson home run with him finally looking like at least he's alive a little bit. A couple bombs over the last couple weeks. I will say, I told you before, I don't look at day-night splits at all, but I wish it was a day game because Matt Olson over the last couple of years, just for whatever reason, rakes in day games. Like, I don't know what it is about it, but that one, unfortunately, is a later starter right there. But yeah, I don't have anything too crazy, honestly. I was still told you maybe get in a Blue Jays homer or something, fading your boy Vasquez, all those pitches over the plate. Vlad loves a nice 110-mile-an-hour ground out, but maybe he can finally elevate one and get it over the fence. Like, I'll probably find a bomb or two, but don't have anything locked in right now.
Yeah,
can you pick an athletics home run guy? Like, that's my nightmare. I'm like, okay, I want to bet against this guy. Doesn't can you one? The Athletics have like 10 guys that can homer any given night. Like, picking which one is stressful as hell for me.
Yeah, and I wish there would have been a little bit more respect on Kikanovich after his outing against the Dodgers, but there's not.
Yeah.
Right, which that makes me not want to bet that game. I thought I could get like a 9.5 total.
Mm-hmm.
And Sears hasn't been awful. I think he sucks, but he hasn't been awful. So it's like it's tough.
I'm
game is second highest in highest game score.
Yeah,
it's kind of scaring me.
I'm pro Sears, but he's got to be in a big ballpark. He can't be in a fucking small one. Like he needs the protection more than most guys. But I don't know. I agree with you. I was hoping a little bit more respect after that start, but still, like every time I bet Rooker home run, he walks. So I'll give you guys some advance if anyone wants to bet the walk tonight, because as soon as I click that homer button, he's guaranteed walk first at bat. We can block that in.
All right, maybe I do one long shot and just say fuck it. I'm gonna go back to my favorite thing. I'm going the highest scoring game again, dude. I'm going to it, and again. It scares me because these Coors games are so hot. But I'm going to the Padres. I'm going to Blue Jays. I'm going to that game. And I'm going to this for a few reasons, okay? Because it's obviously plus 1,100 is not a bad reason. I'm going to only play this for like probably 0.2 units. Like it's not going to be anything big. But like I'm looking at these games that are above it, right? And it's Philly, Colorado. That's just, that just has it. But I don't think JP Sears is that fucking awful. And he's too. Also, the Angels are not good. So it's like I'm having to rely on a bad team doing a good thing, right? And that's something I don't want to do. Like then I go down and it's Dodgers versus Arizona, and it's Corbin Burns versus Dustin May. Like Dustin May coming off that absolutely horrendous start, and Corbin Burns, since coming back from that injury, has been awesome. He's been fantastic. And then I get to go to a team here, and the next one is the Padres, and the Blue Jays, two good hitting teams, right? An absolutely horrendous pitcher in Randy Vasquez, but my God, dude, what is putting me to have trust in Kevin Gausman? I love Kevin Gausman. I feel like everybody on the show knows I bet Kevin Gausman the first 2 years of the show ad nauseum. I used to bet him at nauseum, right? But this is just not, in my opinion, not a good matchup at all, right? I mean, the Padres have been good, 107 WRC plus against right-handed pitching on the year, but they're just not going to strike out, right? That's just something they're just not going to do. 18% carry. So that means both sides are putting the ball in play at an elite rate, right? Top 3 in the MLB. In all these numbers, right? You get all of these guys putting that ball in play. And then I get to have, the power on both sides as well. I think my biggest issue has always been I always like playing Kevin Gausman at home. Like that used to be a trend that worked. Well, it doesn't really work when you still have almost a 5 expected ERA. Like,
yeah,
that was when he was getting whiffs. That was when he was able to get guys out there, right? That was when I was kind of worried about, pushing up those strikeout numbers, right? And he just hasn't had the swings and misses this year. Also, if you want to go down the list a little bit as well, I think that we're seeing the Blue Jays bullpen actually way better than what they're going to be throughout. I think they're due for some regression as a 3.8 ERA bullpen. This bullpen is not that good. Like, this is not going to be a bullpen that I want to be, betting on in the future. I think we're going to start seeing that kind of fall a little bit. And the same thing for the Padres, right? Obviously, outside of Suarez, I like those guys, but I think both of these bullpens are kind of thrown over their head a little bit. Like Matsui, bro, like he's not a guy that should be a sub, 2.5 ERA throughout the year. I think we're going to see some regression. I think both these teams are the guys that, when you get to those bullpens, they're going in there just trying to K everybody. This could be a tough spot to do it. So I like these markets a little bit better. Obviously, do I think that the Coors one probably hits? Probably. It's plus 450, though. And I have to go up against 14 other games. I think this one has a pretty high upside, as Randy Vasquez, in my opinion, is probably the worst pitcher on the slate. So I think if we can get, to that blowout as well, let me see some fucking position players. Put his ass in there.
No, I like it. I like it the price as well. Like you said, I think you can make a good argument against some of these other games. Course inflates the hell out of that one naturally. It's going to probably be high scoring. But like you said, there's going to be more opportunities outside of it. And these are two really good offenses. Like you said, the one thing, it's the nitpick, it's the historical stuff. But it would just make me feel better if Gausman was on the road instead of at home. It was that if it's in Padres Stadium or whatever. But the price would probably be like $900 as opposed to $1,100 because everyone thinks that way. It's not a new thing, but definitely like the spot right here. Fuck. We just got a live notification. They did not ban the tush push. Fuck. Sorry, just got the notification. It was
I don't have Underdog NFL.
They're not. I know. I kept it on. No, they're not going to ban it. Wow.
I felt that it was leaning towards it, but maybe.
Damn, what a bummer. Fuck the Eagles. I was really hoping they'd piss those guys off today. Dang it. Another year of that dumbass play. Okay, sorry. We can continue now.
No, we're good.
I was hoping to get the live joy, of seeing that it was banned on the show. But nope, not today. Maybe next year.
All right, so you got anything else for the people here before we get out of here?
No, that distracted the fuck out of me now. I'm not going to lie. But I'll have a newsletter for the later show games. I don't know. I don't really like that much stuff besides, like I said, I'll probably have some like Logan Webb outs at 18 in a parlay and some stuff like that. I shouted out Brendan Donovan. He went like 3 for 4 with like 2 doubles last game. So shout out to him. Keep cooking. And then for this early one, I'm probably going to toss in a Kerry Carpenter home run as well. I saw that's at like pretty good price. So got some good early game stuff. If you want more bets, make sure you're following on Twitter. We'll have some more stuff today, maybe even an NBA prop as well. Glad I didn't bet on that game yesterday. And yeah, hopefully we can keep on, the good times coming. I got to check what streak I'm on. I feel like I'm on a little heater on this show. I think at least like 4 or 5 in a row, or at least, 5 or last 6 or something on my side. So hoping to keep that up today. Love the spot. And drop any questions if you got them. We'll be here.
Yeah, it's tough because we were gone for almost 2 weeks, so that kind of threw it in there. I think the last one that was a loss for you was probably I'm sorry, I just saw the name Gunnar Hogland, and I remember you talking about that motherfucker. He's god awful.
I didn't bet him on the show, though. I did not do that. So
God, that was so bad. That guy is fucking cheeks, dude. It's hilarious. No, I think it was a Caruso bet. I think he was actually the last loss on the show. But of course he is, Of course he is, because he actually probably played a very good game and didn't cash his bet. So, but yeah, I will obviously seeing numbers are around 14 units this early in the season. We'll be happy with that. And hopefully you guys are back here with us on Friday, normal time. And we'll be back for some bets with you guys. So Have a good one, guys. Best of luck, and we will see you on Friday.